Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, we're so glad to be with you tonight. You are listening live from the nation's capital, the Exceptional Conservative Show, on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We are not ashamed of the good news conservatism, for it is the power of liberation. First to the Republican, then the Socialist. I have to straighten something out there. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Mary. Mary says I look great tonight. My wife dressed me. Awesome. Big night tonight. Part of a big week this week on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Tonight, we're going to have with us a gentleman I've been wanting to speak with for a little while. In fact, his name is none other than Spencer Fernando, and he's a Canadian political commentator. We're looking forward to discussing with him the new Canada, left of center. I mean, really, it's way over on that side of the. It's moving swiftly too, I tell you. Also tonight we'll be joined with the Bloviating Zeppelin himself, Sir Mark, and he is the host of the Berserk Bobcat Saloon. And so that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays after my program at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm excited by his arrival this particular evening. There's so much to talk about. And also, there's a movie coming out which will be premiering in San Antonio on Thursday. The producer, director, and chairman of the board of directors of that project and Strong Foundations Films.com. We're trying to get her on the air with us on Wednesday night. I'll know for certain. Tomorrow night, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer will be with us live from the nation's capital. So I am expressly looking forward to everybody coming and listening to us tomorrow night. I especially shared the show with Kel. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you. Because I'm hoping Kel would drop by, listen to one of her Canadian brethren, talk about the ills of the Trudeau administration. I mean, she could talk about them herself. And especially today when Trudeau is meeting or had met with President Donald J. Trump here in Washington and talks about tariffs and unfair trade and a few other issues. How about them borders? Yeah. All right. So lots to talk about in terms of all of that. You know how we lead this particular program off, and I'm excited tonight because it's always our kids that lead us out of the chute Monday through Thursday. However time you come in and listen to us, we're on from 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, but 9 to 11, forgive me, Eastern time. Wow. Whoa, get it together, man. So normally what happens is we allow our kids to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We take our right hand, we put it over our heart, we look at the big flag at live stream. You see it right here. You stream right behind me. Let's pledge allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, kiddies. Ladies and gentlemen, who's joined us since that time frame? Claudia Cheek, the beautiful Claudia Cheek, is in our chat roll. So glad to have her here. Much love and many blessings to you. And of course, my beautiful bouncer, Mary Brockman. Smooches, I love you. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed from our particular program. Let us pick up the phone and dial those ringy dingy numbers that we love so dear. We are calling Canada tonight. to talk with Spencer Fernando. Let's get that number in there. No, not there. Okay, we'll do right here. And yep, there we go. We got that number in there. 1 ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingy, 3 ringy dingy. There you go. They got the sound there. We are calling Canada, Canada for Spencer Fernando. Great writer that he is. Uh, Good evening. This is the Exceptional One, Kevin McClinton. You are live. What? Good evening. This is Kevin McClinton. You are live on the Exceptional Conservative Show out of Washington, D.C.
Hi, how are you?
Just fine. Yourself, Spencer?
Not too bad. I'm just going to switch you over to my speakers here just a second.
Okay, great. Excellent. We are speaking tonight with Spencer Fernando. You can find his work at spencerfernando.com. A tremendous writer and a great commentator on all affairs, whether political, economic, you name it, he'll talk about it. Culture, news, you give it, and he's a great thinker and a great writer. So glad to have you on our program this particular evening, sir.
Thank you.
All right, terrific. Listen, what got you into the field of commentary in the first place?
I spent a lot of time in various political parties, kind of across the spectrum. Had an interesting experience in politics here in Canada, and then I left. I've always been someone who likes to speak my mind, and there's really not too much room, especially in political parties, to speak your mind. People often don't last long when they do that, so I decided I still wanted to be involved in politics and still wanted to share my ideas, but I didn't want to be restricted in what I could say. So I just decided to start writing and getting my own opinions out there.
Well, terrific. Well, you have a wonderful framework of reference with spencerfernando.com. I'm encouraging all of my peeps to go there and take a listen and to watch and to read your materials. Just because I find it quite fascinating. You write in a conservative frame of reference, and I'm just wondering how many conservatives are left in Canada. It's like maybe 1 or 2 of you left.
There's a fair amount. It's very interesting. I just to use one example. There was a poll. I don't know if you read about the refugee issue we're having.
Yep.
There's a lot of coming from, yeah. And so in the media, you see almost none of the Canadian media will ever talk about Canadians who are concerned about the increase in refugees. And so you get the sense from the government and the media that, everybody must be so happy with what's happening. And then when you look at polls, half of the country is concerned about it. So I think there are a lot more conservative-leaning people than you see in the media. But that opinion is definitely not represented in the big media networks and definitely not by the government currently.
Exactly. And a few weeks ago, in fact, there were many Canadians that were feeling completely ostracized by their government over the issue of pretty much making Islam the national religion, I guess by default. If you could explain to the American audience exactly what took place a few weeks ago when the Parliament of Canada decided to do a study on Islamophobia.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't exactly making it the national religion, but what it was doing is it said they brought forward a motion that was saying that Islamophobia was a big issue and the government had to combat it and fight against it in all its forms. The issue with that, and it was very interesting, that's the Liberal government that brought that in under Trudeau. Another well-respected Liberal member had actually said the term should actually be anti-Muslim bigotry because there had been an attack, a terrible attack on a mosque where 6 innocent people were killed. And I think most people would understand if you're talking about bigotry against a certain group of people, that should be condemned. Mm-hmm. But you're talking about fear of a religion, and that's fear of an idea. And the government shouldn't be telling people what ideas they can or can't be afraid of. And there's a lot of people who are concerned that when the government is studying it and looking into it at some point, I'm sure, crafting legislation around it, that it's going to restrict free speech and it's going to make it tough for people to criticize things that should be criticized and discussed.
Now there are lots of people who say, "Wait a minute now." Uh, I understand what you're saying, but you know they're out to get the Islamists. They're out to get the Muslims. They're the only ones who suffer religious tyranny, whether in Canada or the U.S. or France or Europe, wherever it is. Only the Islamists are the ones who face religious tyranny, and so we can understand
Mhm.
why it's important to study Islamophobia. Am I right to that? And what is your response to them?
Well, I mean, I think if you look around the world, I mean, the group that's still the most, the religion that's still the most oppressed is Christianity. I mean, you look at how Christians are treated in the Middle East. I mean, there's no discussion of, oh, should Christians be treated well or not? I mean, Christians just have no rights in most of the Middle East. Those countries don't even talk about that.
Exactly.
And then, you know, the funny thing is that in Canada, and I think in the same United States, if there's a Christian who's, you know, very conservative in their beliefs, they get attacked by the left constantly. And, you know, I used to be more on the left, and I would do the same thing. And I thought it's very interesting how it's okay to attack Christians for that. But then when you start talking about things like, you know, female genital mutilation or Sharia law, all of a sudden the people on the left, oh no, you can't talk about that, can't criticize, you know, people in the Islamic faith or anything. And look, I don't think people who are Muslims should be criticized any more or less. But
Yeah.
all ideas should be open to criticism. And for the government to say, oh, you can't talk about this, you can talk about this, you know, that's a very slippery slope, and that's quite concerning.
Exactly. And along that particular slippery slope, and after this response, I'm going to have to go to a break. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
this slippery slope of the government, it's just a study, right? But
Mm-hmm.
a study that says that virtually you cannot hold an opinion against a certain person or a certain religion. What is the greatest fear that you have right now in Canada regarding free speech?
Well, I think I mean, it's very interesting. There's a bit of a difference between Canada and the United States. Our government actually says free speech is not unlimited, hate speech is not acceptable. And there have been people, conservative commentators who are not at all, you know, you wouldn't even call them far right, but conservative commentators who've been hauled up in front of human rights tribunals and told to explain what their opinions are, because they can be fined and they could get in serious trouble. We have much more limits on free speech in Canada, and I think the fear is that those limits would be increased and people would lose even more of their rights to say their opinions.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great friend of our program from the North, the Great White North, that is, out of Canada, Spencer Fernando, joining us, spencerfernando.com. If you want to know him better, when we come back, we want to talk about all things Pierre Trudeau. And along that particular route, why are the Canadians charging us so much for their milk? When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Exception Consider Show live from the nation's capital. We'll be right back.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Meet Jason. He was really excited to start growing his business with social media until he realized how complex and time-consuming social media can be. It's difficult to manage multiple social networks and accounts. It's hard to monitor what's happening on social media, follow discussions, and engage with new followers. It's time-consuming to publish updates throughout the day, track and analyze how effective posts are, respond to fans and followers in a timely manner, and gain new customers. The list seems to go on and on. Jason quickly becomes discouraged. How could he ever do all of this and still run a business? He was ready to give up on social media until he found eClincher, the easiest way to manage social media. Jason was amazed how straightforward and simple it is to use eClincher. With eClincher, Jason is now able to leverage the power of social media without having to dedicate several hours a day. He can easily organize all his social media accounts in one place, efficiently plan and schedule his posts ahead of time, engage with his followers, understand the effectiveness of his efforts with powerful analytics, find new customers, and much more. In order to tell your business's story, simplify the process of managing your social media, and analyze results, Sign up with eClincher today.
With home values up and interest rates near all-time lows, you probably know that now is a great time to refinance, like the Johnsons, who saved $436 a month.
$436 a month?
It's simple. Just go to lendingtree.com, compare loan offers for free, and see how much you could save in just 5 minutes.
I thought you said the bank gave you the best rate.
Yeah.
Lending Tree. When banks compete, you win.
I have to do everything myself.
Someone is sleeping on the couch tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the nation's capital, we welcome you back. We are talking with none other than Spencer Fernando, who you will find at spencerfernando.com. Great political writer, economist, writer, a critique of economies and news and commentary and cultural effects, and just a swell all-around person, as I have been told, and I'm glad to have an opportunity to talk with him tonight. I'm going to try to make him a regular contributor to our program, in fact. But Spencer, recently, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, had the opportunity to shake hands with the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. And I want to kind of get the expressions of what was happening to the Great White North with those who see Donald Trump as Satan in the flesh, in the sense that he is Islamophobic, he's homophobic, he's any phobic possible that you can come up with. How could Justin Trudeau take a few moments of his life to meet this guy?
Well, I mean, Canada, the United States is by far and away Canada's biggest trading partner. I mean, at least 70 to 75% of our exports go to the United States.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether the Prime Minister likes the president or not, Canada has no choice. The United States is not as dependent, but I believe about 30 to 35 states in the U.S., Canada is the biggest trading partner.
Yeah.
So the two countries definitely do need each other to a certain extent. And so I think, it's just self-interest on Canada's part and the United States. Whether leaders may like or hate each other or come from the same place on the political spectrum, they have to get along to a certain extent.
Exactly. Now, when we take a look at the economic picture here, one of the most deafening articles of debate during the Obama administration was the oil shale from Canada. So much so that they fought, and I don't know why we did, but we fought against having any type of pipeline coming from Canada into the United States, going into Houston, to take the oil shale and turn it into gasoline and other fuels. But under this administration, we have decided that, yay, we want to pump that oil into our country. What impact does that have on Canada, and what impact does it have on the environmentalists in Canada?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to be very good for Canada. I mean, more jobs is always a good thing. More economic growth is always good. And so more pipelines and more oil going to the United States will be helpful for Canada and the United States as well.
Yeah.
Environmentalists are not going to be happy, although, the oil is going to move some way. So if it's not a pipeline, it's going to be by train. Train is often more dangerous. So the oil is going to get around somewhere. And, I think it's good for both countries. And the other thing is, if it doesn't come from Canada, it's going to come from Saudi Arabia, right? So
thank you.
To talk about human rights and how to treat people in the world. I think better to get it from a democratic country than to get it from one of the most, personally, I would say, evil, ruthless regimes in the world. So.
Yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. That we're down here, they're looking at creating almost 250,000 jobs just off of that one pipeline, directly and indirectly, as a result of the economic prosperity that comes from it. But I mean, we had for 8 years this great strident, titanic effort to remove us off the fossil fuel addiction, if it is such a thing. And the environmentalists were unsuccessful. They even failed with global warming because it started cooling. I mean, why is it that your administration, the Trudeau administration, is still holding on to the values of environmentalists?
I think, well, I think the big thing for Trudeau is, he's very much a globalist, right? So his main constituency isn't really, in his mind, the Canadian people, but it's, the world, leaders around the world, the newspapers around the world. He wants to be viewed as oh, he's a wonderful environmentalist, he's so progressive, and he's
Yes.
so politically correct. And so, when you say things, it doesn't necessarily do with the policy, but when you say the right things on the world stage, like, oh, we're going to reduce fossil fuel usage, blah, 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 you get nice articles written about you in the mainstream press. And I think that's one thing his government is chasing all the time, is international press and attention.
Okay. Well, he certainly has all the press. He's young. He's attractive. He says all the right things. But I don't know if managing government has been his best suit. And if you tell me, how have things changed from the previous administration to this one regarding not only the budget there, but also just overall administrative work with government?
Well, I mean, the economy's not really growing any faster, but the government's spending about $30 billion more per year. So in the States now, it'll be like a government running a $300 billion deficit and then getting no results for it. The budget was balanced. The Harper government, the Conservative government, previously gave Trudeau a balanced budget.
Yep.
And he said he was going to run 3 years of small deficits, no more than $10 billion. And now it turns out we're looking at, a decade at least of deficits between 15 and 25 billion every year. So,
Woo.
And there's no more jobs being created. There's no economic results from it. Infrastructure money's not getting spent as quickly as the government said they would. A new carbon tax is going to be brought in, which is going to make everything more expensive. So the economic record is not too good.
Now, and let's just be honest, we had 8 years of Barack Hussein Obama, and his national debt spending, his addiction to pumping out money and printing it, no matter what basement he was in, led us to creating $10 trillion of additional debt, more debt created under one presidency than all of the presidencies before him. And now we have Donald Trump in his first year facing in this coming week a decision as to raise our national debt again or shut down the government. I want to find out, first and fourmost, how do Canadians feel about the way that Donald Trump's been handling our government since he's come on board? But secondly, are you all concerned about us spending money out the yang like we've been doing for the past 8 years?
Well, I think to an extent there's a little bit of concern in Canada. I mean, we always want to make sure the United States economy is doing well, because when the U.S. does well, Canada does well. We kind of generally not completely in tandem, but move pretty much in tandem most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's not too much concern over the U.S. debt. I think partly because the U.S. is still the world reserve currency, so I think there's not really a sense where the U.S. can never really default on their debt. They'll just print more money. Obviously, that has serious consequences itself. But I think the main concern in Canada is on trade issues. I think it was just announced that Trump is going to bring in a 20% tariff on softwood lumber. So that's going to be a bit of a concern in Canada. And NAFTA renegotiation obviously has a lot of people concerned too.
Exactly. And the NAFTA thing, heads began to turn right after the election of Donald Trump. And the countries began to see Mexico, while it was making protestations, was also throwing an olive branch to our Department of Transportation regarding trucking into its country, or out of its country into ours. And I want to know, in the sense, is Canada ready for a redo of NAFTA? Would they prefer to have a one-on-one agreement with the United States rather than a North American treaty per se?
I mean, well, publicly the government has said that they want to keep all three countries in it. I think if they were forced to, we'd have to accept the negotiation with the United States. We can't afford to have a big reduction in trade with the U.S. because that would collapse our own economy. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens once the negotiation starts, what it actually means, whether Trump is just using that as a way to get a better deal for the United States, or he really does want to negotiate. I think time will tell on that. But Canada will have to make sure we have a good relationship with the United States, regardless of what happens with Mexico.
Exactly. Now, in terms of relationship wise, and we're talking with Spencer Fernando, SpencerFernando.com, our Canadian brother to the north, fellow conservative. In relationship wise, we've heard many things on both sides regarding immigration and enforcement of that immigration. Uh, while we have seen a reduction of 60% at the southern border regarding strong enforcement and threat of displacement, there have been great contests in the north of us on the northern border that everyone that we're throwing out, they're not going back south, they're going north. Uh, so is that our fault or is that yours?
Well, it's probably a bit of both. I mean, I think what happened was there was a climate in the United States where people realized the laws are going to be enforced a lot more strictly. A lot of people started to get afraid. And then just as that was getting a lot of attention in the media, Justin Trudeau tweeted that everyone fleeing war and oppression is welcome in Canada. You know, we welcome everybody, regardless of who they are. Unfortunately, you can't. That's not how any immigration system works. I mean, a country decides who they let in. You can't just welcome everybody from the world. But what happened is I sent a message to all the people in the United States who are afraid of getting deported or sent back to other countries. Well, I guess we just have to go up north, and Canada's open. And so there's been a huge influx of people into Canada, and it's expected to get even larger. So I think, the initial climate was created by Donald Trump, and then Trudeau's tweet just kind of sent the welcome mat open into Canada.
Exactly. But doesn't that create an ultimate trap for you all? Because they can't come back this way. You're stuck with everyone that left us. What impact does that have right now on like Toronto and Montreal and other cities that open the welcome mat wide?
Well, it's starting to stream resources for refugee settlement organizations and different groups that help out. Also, a lot of border towns are concerned too. One town in Emerson, Manitoba, is they're experiencing a lot of people crossing over. So in the middle of the night, people get knocks on their doors. People asking for help or just walking through the town in the middle of the night. Trudeau said he's going to get resources to them to help them out. I think they got like 2 more officers and more trucks. So
Yeah.
not really anything is being done to help them out there. And the other thing is Trudeau and kind of the elites in society, they never live in areas that are actually affected by immigration or refugees. They live in often gated communities where they're very well protected. Everything is nice and safe there, well policed. So they implement policies that the citizens deal with, but the elites never actually experience any consequence from it. So they think, we're just going to praise Trudeau for being so nice and open and kind and loving to everybody in the world, and then Canadians will actually pay the price for it. So
exactly.
That's kind of what's happening now.
Exactly, and I think you well state that. Whether you're in Canada or the U.S., it's amazing how many liberals who don't necessarily get affected by immigrants illegally coming into borders are able to carry signs into their capital cities and say, let them all in, while the people that actually suffer are the ones who never wanted them there in the first place. Do you believe a conversation went on today between Trudeau and Trump in terms of trying to find a way to massage those individuals out of the Canada and kind of squeeze them back into Mexico and to other border country, Central American countries?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, there's a lot of people from Minnesota who are entering Canada as well, and they would be, even if they're rejected in Canada, under our rules, we can't send them back to, say, Somalia, for example, because it's considered too dangerous for them. So they're kind of a legal limbo. They can't go back to the States either because they're not legally in the United States.
Wow.
Or they've hired their time there. So they're kind of stuck in Canada, and it's going to be interesting to see how Canada deals with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a challenge.
It's going to be
I think
amazing.
going forward, it would help if the two countries
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing challenge for you all. I mean, wow. You were saying that the two countries. What must we do to work this deal through?
Yeah, I think it would help if the two leaders, or at least the two countries, officially coordinated their messaging on how the country's immigration system works, who's allowed in and who's not. Because right now there's still a sense that the United States it's a nightmare for anyone in the country, and just come to Canada. It's perfect. It's heaven. Everyone gets to stay and get treated well, which isn't correct. I mean, we still have laws that do apply. The government's not doing much in terms of strengthening any of those laws. But some coordination of messaging would be very helpful, because right now there's a false image that everyone can just come into Canada no matter what, and they're going to be accepted and become citizens right away or something, and that needs to change.
Well, you could always become part of the United States. I mean, that's an option. No,
I don't think so.
I don't think.
We're still an independent country.
But in closing with you, there are lots of people who are listening to you right now, Spencer. They know about Kel Fritzy and others who have come on to U.S. stations and spoken about the conservative movement. But I want to know from you, what is the hope of conservatism to the north of us? And do you see that Trudeau will be the last of the liberal links? Is there any hope of someone replacing a Trudeau with someone who's like Le Pen-like or Trump-like in Canada?
It's possible. I mean, it's going to be a little different in every country. I mean, Canada is, for the most part, definitely more socially liberal than the United States. So someone in Canada would have to very carefully. There are still social conservatives in Canada, but the Conservative Party is about kind of 50-50 split between more libertarian leaning and more socially conservative people. So any leader has to be able to very carefully balance those two groups within the Conservative Party and then still get more votes outside of the party. I think it's possible if Trudeau continues the way he's going, but it's going to require a real change in how we talk about politics in Canada. For example, patriotism and nationalism are still things that are not too often discussed by leaders anywhere on the political spectrum.
Yeah.
And I think we need to get back to the idea that it's the job of the Canadian government to put Canada's interests first, not to look out after the entire world, but to do what's right for Canada, to not, have policies that kind of give our sovereignty away or give our independence away.
Yeah.
And I think when that conversation starts to happen, whether it's on trade or whether it's on foreign aid, for example, keeping more money within our own country, I think we would start to see a shift. But until leaders have the courage to say that, I think it's going to be very tough.
Spencer, how can people read your stuff? How can they connect with you? There are conservatives to the south of you that want to connect with you and help you forge a message. And we would like for you to help us forge a message as well that reaches all nations, to let them know that conservatism works. How can they get in contact with you? How can they read your stuff?
You can go to SpencerFernando.com. You can sign up for the mailing list and follow me on Facebook as well. All those links are on my website. There's also a feedback form, so you can contact me, send your emails, share your thoughts, and get in touch with me that way. So yeah, just head to SpencerFernando.com, and there's lots of different options there.
Terrific. Spencer, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to try to make you a regular on our network as we wish to connect with Canada and the rest of the nations of the world and spread the good news of conservatism. Thank you so much and have a good night.
Good speaking with you.
Great talking with you. All right, that was Spencer Fernando. That's from Canada. We want to thank the Canadians for opening their borders wide to all the people that we're trying to throw out. Just keep the borders open. How long does Trudeau have? Somebody look that up for me. As long as he keeps the borders open, we'll be just fine. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with the best in urban conservative talk. And if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Exceptional Conservative Network. We got some great stars in there. In fact, we have a star with us who has now become a politichick, which I suppose means that you're sexy or something. I know the politichicks are smart and bright. I know they're brilliant. Yeah, but they're sexy too. Okay, so congratulations to you, Melanie Collette, on becoming a politichick. Mary, am I going to be sexually harassed or get legal action on that one? Am I? I got to talk to Mom. But we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with more of the best in urban conservative talk right after these messages. Speaking of sexy,
There are
only two things you should be doing weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and one of them is legal in 58 states. So do the other one. Listen live to The Exceptional Conservative Show with Ken McClinton, Monday through Wednesday at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time on SHR Media and at TheExceptionalConservativeshow.com. The Exceptional Conservative Show, bringing the sexy back to late night conservative talk.
Come on, Mr. Nunez, say it ain't so.
Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, Representative Devin Nunez, please step out of the politically correct parallel universe you've gotten stuck in. Your Olympus Americanus apologeticus decision to temporarily step aside as head of the Russian probe pending the outcome of an outlandish, progressive-oriented ethics investigation? Sir, I know you said, quote, is in the best interest of the House Intelligence Committee and the Congress, unquote. But that makes about as much sense as saying that the Chucky Schumers of the world, Nasty Pelosi, and even Governor Snyder of Michigan have good intentions regarding America because those progressive globalists do not. Mr. Nunez, your clear and precise investigation had the crooked progressive Democrats shaking in their crappy boots. Oh, I understand that several left-wing activist groups have filed accusations against you with the Office of Congressional Ethics. It was done to prevent the American people from getting the whole truth about improper unmasking of the identities of U.S. citizens and other abuses of power. Such typical Republican style of rolling over and caving into the whims of deviant progressives is both stupid and dangerous for the Republic. I'm Ron Edwards. Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
The Bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR Media. Gird thy loins for the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, coming soon to ossicles near you. Excelsior.
I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different, real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is a popular liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement, Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Rowley, Juan Pablo Andrande, and Zayad Abdullah. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Dinesh D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at freedomfest.com for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. We'll see you there.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Thank you, ladies and
You're listening
gentlemen,
to the-
and welcome to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. I'm yours in service to the great need of Christianity, conservatism, capitalism, and of course, constitutionalism. Personal sovereignty can be thrown in there too as a fifth atom. But nonetheless, live from the nation's capital, it's yours truly, Washington, D.C.'s own Ken McClinton. You know, it's amazing. I'm sitting there, and as I'm talking with Spencer Fernando, and I noticed that Kel Fritzy isn't here, the sexiest producer in all of media. I'm trying to actually kidnap her and bring her into the country so that she will work for me. Otherwise, I would have to steal Lonnie Poindexter's producer, Sherry, as we grow. But I need for you all to do something for me tonight, going in tomorrow morning. First and foremost, all kudos to Mary Brockman, because over 7 years ago, when I started doing this, as I've told you this story before, quite frankly, it came to a night that I was on, and I just decided that maybe this is not what God really wants me to do. I'm going to do something like enjoy my evenings, watch TV, go to sleep on the couch. But I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that since we started the network in last November, look at how we've grown with the network since last November. I mean, look at all the superstars we have now. You got Melanie, you have Melanie in the morning, who's now become a politic. Okay. Okay. Uh, you got Shannon and Mike in the morning. You got Willie Lawson, who's about on Thursday. Willie Lawson will make a soft launch of TECN Sports. Thank you, Claudia. You got like I said, in the Shannon and Mike in the AM. You got you got Ralph Chittum's there. You got of course Leslie on Sundays with Real Clear Israel. I mean, she's just blowing away numbers with that. You got Ron Edwards in the batter's box. You got Perry Drake in the lineup on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. I could only ask for more. And in fact, we're going and moving towards building a 24/7 radio network, commentary network. We also got TECN.biz and TECN.biz. Yeah. Talk about the station for divas. Wow. But you got that. Melanie's the president of that. So and you got Willie, president of TEC Sports. Is Leslie Ann your token? No, she's not my token white. No, Mary, she's not my token white. My token white happens to be the underground professor on Thursday nights with me from 9 to 11, and his white dog Winston. No, her dog's not white. We've got, and plus, no, I won't use that joke. I won't use that joke. I won't go there. Because I'm quite certain not a lot of people know that I'm white. I'm just kidding. I am not white. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I could have fooled a whole lot of folk on that one. But the head diva in charge. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Melanie. But tomorrow I want y'all to pray. I mean, throughout the night, all the way tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning we got a big meeting, huge meeting, and that meeting is so vital to what we're trying to do with TECN. Already told you that we're gonna develop a sports network. We're developing a business network. You know, if you listen to me long enough, my mind, if left alone, will create too much and requires a lot of work. And so there is a very big meeting that we're having tomorrow morning. Our prayers are, especially for, and I do want to thank Willie and Melanie for taking the risk of being the ones to join me and stepping out and getting on Ustream with me because it's been practice. But I'm telling you, we're about to move to another level, a great and wondrous level. Um, and we're not going to be the orphans of conservative media. We're not going to be the orphans of media, period. Um, we're not fatherless. We have a great father, a father who loves us dearly. And quite frankly, and Melanie's right, it's not just a huge meeting, it really is a huge meeting. People have been watching us, and I've been telling people along the way that you might think that you're only doing this and you're on the air and only Claudia is listening to you or only Mary is listening to you. Which, in my opinion, if Claudia and Mary listen to me on one night, that is well worth everything that I do. I am not going to lie to you. Having those two beautiful women in my chat room, aces. Okay. Um, and it's good to throw in Melanie too. Yeah, just throw her in there. Yeah. And okay, I think Deborah's still Deborah. Oh, beautiful woman that she is as well. And let me just not say beautiful, brilliant woman too. I just yeah. You got to be careful of litigation these days. That is a great joy, but I've been telling people first and foremost, the first year that I started keeping numbers on my website of people actually coming to my website in April of last year. By the end of last year, over 200,000 people had come to our website. Over 200,000 people. Now, I know a lot of people who have radio stations, terrestrial radio stations, who haven't even turned the dial over yet to 100,000. Over 200,000 to our website. Melanie Collette had not even started doing any work on TECN.biz, and she set a record for listenership last year. I mean, there were people going to it just to see what was up. And she's already broke, just in this half a month into this month, with her actually operating on TECN.biz, she's already broken her own record, and she's setting a new one every single day thereafter. You may think that no one else is listening to us, but a lot of people are. Whether it be XM Radio, and I've had officials from XM Radio get in contact with me. I've had people from CBS get in contact with me. People are listening to us. When I tell you that we're going to be bigger than Fox someday, you listen to me and you think, oh, well, isn't he an arrogant something or the other? His mother didn't raise him right. No, I'm being very fruitfully honest with you. And part of what we're getting ready to do, ladies and gentlemen, starting with tomorrow morning's meeting, it's going to change the atmosphere of conservative talk in America. The atmosphere of conservative talk will change. Now, I know you all are so, and that's why I love Willie Lawson. Willie Lawson started an initiative that I'm going to fasten on as my idea. Since I'm the chairman, I'm just going to say it was my idea, but really it was Willie Lawson's. Make the switch. Hashtag makes the switch. I wish some people would put that in there. Hashtag make the switch. In fact, let me put that in there to let you know what I'm talking about. A lot of you all have gotten so hung up on Fox News, which really is not a conservative news station at all. It's really as close to the establishment, if not leaning left, as possible in many cases. In fact, when you have the people on Fox Business News who are rooting for Macron to win in France instead of Le Pen. That kind of tells you something. Literally, you have individuals who have gotten so hung up on Fox News that all day long it's Fox News. That's it. They can't conceive anything else. Mary Bachman said, "Kid losing his job is the best thing to happen to radio." Getting thrown out of a black church was the best thing that ever could have happened to me. But literally, people, they've lost Bill O'Reilly, they've lost Megyn Kelly, they've lost. I know some people are in love with Tucker Carlson, but they're working on getting rid of Konnichiwa. They're working on getting rid of Hannity. They're getting rid of most of the conservatives on Fox News. It's going to be CNN Light after a while. Where are the conservatives going to go? First, you don't have a political party to turn to because the Republicans have turned against you. You don't have even a news station to go to anymore because Fox News has turned against you. What are you going to do? Make the switch to the Exceptional Conservative Network is what I'm going to tell you. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a little bit more, and then in the next hour. There's so much I got to tell you. And I want you all to pray, but I got to tell you, but I got to go to a break. I'll be right back.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe. Burton Reaver, Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on shrmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, shrmedia.com.
Begin your mornings the right way with some right thinking from me, Perry Drake, your friendly neighborhood drive-by pundit. I want you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Central Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. From politics to pop culture to relationships to whatever else is on your mind, we have a great deal to talk about. Tune in and let's get the talking started. Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, Monday through Fridays, 9 a.m. They told me that I needed to be humble, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I decided to be awesome instead. That's The Willie Lawson Show, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. here on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Power brokers use corrupt politicians, deceptive Islam, and lies from establishment media to turn the once shining city on a hill into the city of the blind. What do the elites fear? One man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me at SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Spreaker, iTunes, and YouTube for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant. Power brokers use corrupt politicians.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Van. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. I am the best producer of the worst producers in the world. Thank you very much. No one does the worst the best way that I do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got about 1 minute, and I can't even get into all the things I want to talk with you about, but please start praying for us. Tomorrow is a very big meeting in the morning. I hope to have some very good news for you by the end of this week on a very big material jump. I'm letting you all know that conservatism will never be the same in America after tomorrow. It won't be. And I want you to pray with me. When we come back, we'll be talking with none other than BZ. That's Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin. For those of you following along at home, going away, Red Nation Rising, love you. Smooches, SHR, love you. Thank you for carrying us live. We will be back with more of the best right after these messages.
Shekinah Ranch is involved in helping youth through the snags along the pathway to adulthood. The last 8 years have created greater challenges. Having a president to parade perversion to our youth has generated the need for us to ramp up our character learning 100-fold. Today's youth are confused. Our goal is to give them a fresh understanding of creation, moral clarity, respect for authority. In short, restore absolutes and boundaries. Boys are born boys and girls are born girls. God's design. Right is right even when no one else is doing it. The Exceptional Conservative Network is underway to raise $10,000 to help advance this mission. Together, let's reverse the confusion aimed at our youth. Don't be a spectator. Go to our donation portal and make your financial contribution, and do it now. Your gift goes towards helping youth get clarity, moral clarity. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donovan Larkins, who is the founder and president of Shekinah Ranch Youth Foundation, offers a sincere opportunity for you to protect children from molestation and sexual abuse and help abused children receive their healing. In addition, Pastor Larkins is joining forces with the Exceptional Conservative Network to raise awareness of the growing crisis of unresolved homicides, missing persons, and sex trafficking in urban America. Help us raise $10,000 to care for over 300 abused children at Shekinah Ranch this summer. I want y'all to know summer is right around the corner, okay? And put an end to the grief and unnecessary loss of life of unresolved homicides, missing persons, and sex trafficking. Go to the TECN homepage at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com and donate today.
Hi, my name is Christopher Arnold. I'm the executive chef of Infused Restaurant, and today I'm going to walk you through some of the meals that we prepare here. We're making a pizza. We use fresh Italian sausage that we cook here to spice it up. Our pizza dough is in-house made. Our pizza sauce is in-house made. So everything is fresh and ingredients. This is our Thai curry chicken. The sauce is made with coconut milk and the Thai red curry. It is juicy chicken thighs as well as some mixed vegetables, served with jasmine rice and pita bread. So now we're going to prepare our famous blackened tilapia and grits, our fish and grits on the menu. Once the fish is ready, then our meal will be complete. Let me tell you about our infused beef burgers. We kick the spice up just a little bit with our infused sauce. We start off with 80-20 USDA ground chuck ham patty burgers, nice half a pound of burgers, and we're going to grill it to perfection. After I flip the burger, we add the sauce and let it cook on into the meat mix a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of pepper jack cheese to this burger to spice it up a bit. Order up!
6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland, baby. 6339 Allentown Road, Temple Hills, Maryland. Whenever you're in town, call me up. We go to Infused Restaurant. The Exceptional Burger is big as my head, and they got other great food, chicken and waffles, and they got the vegan stuff for all you real eaters. But 6339 Allentown Road, make it your place to eat. Melanie Collette says, I'm going on record right now and I'm not down with OPP. Okay. We'll be right back with the last of our commercials before we bring on Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin. And I must preference this one by telling you legally, It's time for you to get your cigarettes and things together. Go outside on the front porch. It's time to puff them up.
Money Talk with Melanie is a lively discussion of global, domestic, and kitchen table financial topics. Join your business diva, Melanie Collette, as I speak with respected entrepreneurs, CEOs, authors, and politicians as we explore today's fiscal environment. Money Talk with Melanie airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Remember, this is important because it's your money.
All right. Time for everyone to take that bath.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, but it's the power of liberation, first the Republican and then the Socialist. Yours truly, the exceptional one, and the Rizzy, Mary Brockman, my bouncer in chief. Yay, we love her dearly. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed. That's a double whoop. I'm sorry, what with the music?
How you doing? Oh man, wow, that never is that natural? I'm just going to ask the ladies. There's a lot of ladies in the chat room. You would think that, based on conservative talk numbers, that not a lot of ladies listen to conservative talk, but it appears a lot of women do tune in to the Exceptional Conservative Show. So I have to ask you, is that really Will with Wendy Williams? Just before Sir Mark comes on, because I'm quite certain Sir Mark is the kind of gentleman that doesn't talk about those such things. But I just want to know if the eye candy is real. I don't know. Maybe, maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll ask Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin, if Wendy Williams is all real. Good evening, Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin. It is an honor and privilege to have one of the greatest orators and writers in America on my program Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Good evening, sir.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. I'm quite certain when we have also Dan the Man Butcher in the chat roll with HP Pundit, one of America's great newsmen, I'm quite certain he's willing to do the research necessary to prove whether Wendy Williams is all real. I'm quite certain he'll do the research for us. But you, my sir, what experience do you know regarding this? And are you willing to break a news story tonight regarding Wendy Williams?
My guess is Wendy Williams comes from some of the finest assembled parts throughout the planet.
How you doing?
I could be wrong.
Could be.
But I bet not.
Hey, apparently Melanie Collette says when she had her radio show, she used to talk about her work all the time. Okay, all right, so I think she's a dude. Oh my God!
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ken. I'll tell you what. You put up Wendy Williams against any of the typical MS-13 guys, my money's on Wendy. She'll kick their ass.
That's right. That's right. I would put my money up against Caitlyn Jenner any day.
Oh, that's a given. Oh my God, that's easy.
No, that would be a slaughter.
You're gonna have to give me points. You're gonna have to give me massive points to take that one.
Oh my goodness. Why I don't understand why Dan the Man Butcher is asking Claudia. Claudia is all naturally beautiful. I don't understand. Don't come into the chat room asking the ladies, Dan. You're supposed to know this stuff.
Oh, hey, Melanie brought up a great point, and that's true. She says She's got man hands. I'll tell you what. I had a lieutenant one time. She is about 5'4", 5'5". Really nice gal, great lieutenant, great manager. Son of a bitch, she had hands like catcher's mitts.
Wow. But
I'm telling you, man hands, oh yeah, they exist.
There you go.
They occur in nature. Wait a minute. No, we're talking about Wendy Williams. Okay, forget the nature part.
Yeah. It's a nurture part. All her parts are nurtured, not nature.
Okay, I got it. Ken, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's happening tomorrow? Out with it. Spill. Come on.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
Come on.
I can't do it. You know, I'm the worst person as chairman. I'm chairman, founder, and president of TECN. I am the worst person to tell something because I have my show. And I can't keep secrets. You know that. I can't keep a secret. I don't know why I'm in journalism.
Okay, well, do this then. Give us a little winky little bit, just a taste of what you think is going to happen tomorrow. I mean, give us a hint.
I can't do that. My administrative assistant, my right-hand person, Deborah Frazier, just sent me a note saying I have spoken already too much. Shut up. And so, I mean, I want to say something. I really do.
Then you could. Listen, I'll tell you what. You do that, and I'll make sure that that's the first post on my blog.
I bet you
absolutely the very first. I mean, Ken, how can you sit there in that beautiful suit with those great glasses and the stopped clock, and aren't you absolutely vibrating? Aren't you vibrating with excitement? You just want to tell everyone. You want to tell everyone. You can't wait to let it out. You can go ahead. Can you feel better?
I can't do it, man.
Let it out. Tell people.
Listen. I was getting ready to say something until Melanie Collette put that picture in our amazing Euro-Pacific Limited TECN chat room, in which you could put pictures and all files and things and all kinds of stuff. She put a picture of Wendy Williams in there, and I bow my head. I really do. Not because I'm praying, but because I just don't want to see it.
I'll tell you this. I have to credit what credit is due. Melanie is absolutely wonderful with PowerPoint. You can see clearly there is no obvious Adam's apple on Wendy Williams. So my kudos, my head is off to Melanie. That's a fabulous job.
No, but it's not the Adam's apple that you look for, because some women do have Adam's apple. It's the fingers. It's your fingers that give you a dead way. If there's a different finger styling for men as is for women. So if you know what the finger styling is, you'll never go wrong. And I must say, in all my years, I never went wrong.
Okay, but still, see, that's deflection, Ken. That's deflection. Really, you want to tell us what's going on?
Listen, I do want to.
You can. You listen. When you do, before the end of the show, before the end of this segment, you will. And when you do, think of how easy it will feel. How that weight will be as though it just came directly. Your shoulder. You'll feel happier. You'll feel lighter. You won't have that guilt that's hanging all over you right now. Your shoulders will feel lighter. You'll walk and step briskly. It'll be a brand new day.
Of course it would. It would be. And I appreciate the therapy. I do. Because, wait a minute. Hold up. Let me get in position for this. Hold up. But BZ, I really want to say... I really want to, but I got the...
I know. Let it out, kid. Let it out.
See,
you can do it.
No, but the vice president of TECN, Melanie Collette, just said, do not tell Ken your secrets. I can't... I've been warned by the right hand.
Yeah, I'm not telling any secrets to you, Ken. I want you to tell us a secret. Besides, look at it this way.
Okay.
You're going to tell everybody tomorrow, right?
No, I will probably tell everyone Thursday. Thursday.
Thursday.
But
Okay. Well,
I
then
do have a
see-
big secret. I do have a big secret.
Consider this.
Let
Consider this
Yeah.
view of Thursday.
Okay, well, it's Thursday somewhere in the world, right? Right?
Right, exactly.
Somewhere.
Yeah, look at it that way. It's true.
It's Thursday.
Go ahead.
It's Thursday somewhere in the world. Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer will be on the program tomorrow night at 9:10 p.m. We'll be talking about NATO 2.0. How about that?
I'll tell you what. If you've grabbed Tony Schaefer, that's a wonderful grab. If there's some guy that I would absolutely love to have on my program, whenever he's spoken, whenever I listen to him, he comes with the voice of experience. I don't think I've seen a bit where he's been on someone else's show where he hasn't provided a massive amount of logical and grounded illumination on whatever topic they're talking about. And this guy knows it all. I'm sure you.
Yeah.
On military intelligence, what's going on around the world.
Yeah.
In terms of military activity, foreign intelligence, domestic intelligence, this guy knows it all, and he's still connected. And the other thing is, what's so cool about him, because not everyone is like that, he speaks very well, and you can tell it's from the heart, and he's highly intelligent, well-educated. What a get that is, Ken, I have to tell you.
Thank you very much. And with that being said, I do have to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to talk with you about everything that's political, and everything about bloviatingzeppelin.net, bloviatingzeppelin.net, and also Bobcat, Berserk Bobcat Salon. We want to talk with you about that.
Okay.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with more of the best and urban conservative talk right after these messages.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Good morning.
I'm Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Okay, folks, that's not how it goes. I think I'm Shannon, and you're Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. We are The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Live on SHR Media.
And on TECN.
Where we'll be talking about all kinds of things.
From sports and politics.
To food and entertainment.
To money.
Family.
And anything else in between.
Community, holidays, all kinds of things.
It'll be great. Join us from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
You're listening to the most influential urban conservative talk show in all of the world. Christianity, conservatism, the Constitution, capitalism. We talk about it all right here on The Exceptional Conservative Show at theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Go there now and join me in chat. We're spreading the good news to the ends of the earth. We'll be back right after these messages.
It's time for unity in America. I'm David Longoria, trumpeter and singer. Join me Saturday, May 20th as we celebrate the 19th annual White House Day of Prayer for our nation. The event's founder, Reverend Dr. Terry Lee of Brooklyn, brings many churches and organizations together for this special day where we, the people, will join together for prayer and uplifting and leave our politics behind. There will be leaders from across the country as well as artists singing and praying together for our people, our nation, and our leaders. I will be joined by a 1,000 voices choir as we perform my new song of unity, We Are One. Come to the White House lawn in the Ellipse Park Saturday, May 20th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a special music hour at 3. Register now online for free at whitehouseprayer.org. That's whitehouseprayer.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the socialist. I can't, right now, I am being inquisitioned. And I don't think it's fair being on the other side of the inquiry. As much, I prefer to ask the questions than to have the questions asked of me. And my protector, Deborah Blair Frazier, is in the chat role, so I can't say anything about the huge thing that's supposed to happen tomorrow. And I'm just being blistered here by the Bloviating Zeppelin from the Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin from the bloviatingzeppelin.net and Berserk Bobcat Saloon, which is heard on Tuesdays and Thursday nights on SHR Media. But can we move to a different subject? Can we talk about something else, sir, that more people are interested in than that secret that I have to keep to myself, that I can't tell because there are people watching me right now?
Ken, it's your show. You take it wherever you want. So you're the man. You're in charge. You are the general. You're the master. You're the master of my soul, the captain of my.
Don't do reverse psychology here, man. Don't do it.
It's all up to you, sir. All you have to do is point me in the right direction, and I will go there.
Because that's the kind of man I am. If I want to keep a secret, I can keep a secret. You're a genius, man.
Well, you know what they say about two LAPD officers.
What do they say?
They say 2 LAPD officers can keep a secret if one is dead.
Sign me up. I want to ask you, because I had a wonderful conversation with Spencer Fernando in the first hour about Canada, and thank God for Canada, because that's where all our illegal immigrants are going. Keep going north, people. Keep going north. But apparently those in the mainstream media, and I'm moving Fox into that mainstream media grouping, are upset that Marine Le Pen did so well this weekend. And that she does have a probability of an upset this coming weekend. With what's his name, the Macron or something or the other, Macron.
Yes, Macron.
Macron.
You have to kind of squizzle your cheeks together in some kind of a weird way to say it. Macron.
Can we just teach the French to finish their English words?
I know, that's right. Absolutely correct.
Don't leave us hanging on the ooh. Okay, just say the whole thing.
Yeah, at with it. Come on, at with it.
Come on, like you're holding something. Stop it. But this weekend, if you could tell everyone what happened this weekend in France.
Right, that place. Well, I always say timing is everything. And so on Thursday, we had this radical jihadist decide that right in the middle of the main street of the Champs near the Arc de Triomphe. Do you like that? I'll say it again. Arc de Triomphe. It's kind of like I got something in my throat there. The Arc de Triomphe.
I know. Anytime you talk about French people, it happens to anybody. It's.
By the way, I have to tell you something of extreme dire safety. This is an important safety tip.
Yes.
You should be very afraid if you ever hear this. You know what that is?
Ali Akbar.
That's a spitting cobra. You need to leave.
I thought it was a welcoming to the Middle East.
All that. Anyway, this wacky jihadist decides that he's going to take a Kalashnikov and shoot at officers in a vehicle that are stopped right in the middle of Paris. And he kills one, wounds the other. He's subsequently He subsequently shot and killed, and that occurred, I think, on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And then France went to the voting booth on Saturday, and it came down to when you get back and you examine this, it has some eerie similarities, whether it's engineered this way or not. But it's had some eerie similarities to what happened in the United States. And I think what happened here became a sort of a steamroller that began to, in other words, people in the UK, Nigel Farage, etc., decided that when they saw how things were going in the United States, they said to themselves, well, if it's happening there, it's not impossible that we could get something rolling over here. So then you did, and Nigel Farage won. And despite what the leftists were trying to do, throw everything at them, just like the leftists are doing over here in the United States, the media, etc. Well, the people spoke, and they decided, you know what, I think it's time for the UK to step out of the European Union, because we're tired of having people from Brussels who have no real clear interests in the United Kingdom tell us what we need to do, how we need to do it, and how much we pay to get it done. And then we relinquish many of our rights, etc., to this higher, greater globalist power. Well, while that's being done, first it started the United States and it rolled over to the UK, then the French began to see, well, if it's gone here, A, if it's gone here, B, it's perhaps it's time for Marine Le Pen, who she's quantified as being absolutely, she is so incredibly right-winged. She's to the right of right.
Yes.
Like I said, timing is everything. So you had this attack that occurs on Thursday, and then what it gets down to, so the French vote in a different fashion than we do. They vote in sort of a stair-step leapfrog type effect. And for the first time, I think it was 60 years, the people who are allegedly in the middle, and trust me when I tell you that there really isn't anyone in the middle in France, and Marine Le Pen is actually to the right, but for the first time, the big establishment politicos didn't really place in this election. So there's going to be another election coming, I think it's May 5th. Mm-hmm. And this is sort of a runoff kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, now it turns out it's this guy Macron versus Marine Le Pen. She's right, he's left. He's really left, as a matter of fact. But again, it distills down to the same thing that occurred in the U.S., the establishment, the sort of a populist individual, and people are saying, clearly by the draw between these, the people are saying, you know what, we're tired of the standard crap. We're either going to go far left or we're going to go far right, because we've decided that at this point in France's history, we're not much interested in the middle anymore, because step back, Ken, and think of what they've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Merkel invited over 1 million, and literally opened the floodgates.
Yes.
For all the migrants, and I say that loosely with air quotes, from North Africa, to come into Germany.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that. The United States, as crazy as it is, gave the migrants that came in to the United States in the early 1900s, roughly from 1924 to 1963, to settle in and assimilate, which is what they did. They got jobs. They had families. They learned English. They became members of a culture. And that's exactly what people in the United States wanted.
Yeah.
How the hell does anyone with a lick of common sense think that inviting people that are not of your culture by literally the millions, plural, into your country, how can you think that that cannot have any kind of an unsettling effect upon your country? Well, then, to go back, what occurred in France? What's occurring in France? For the first time, the French are seeing soldiers on the streets. They're seeing downtown Paris torn up. Mm-hmm. My brother used to go to Paris. He's a rich son of a bitch. He used to go to Paris every year. And then he started seeing, in 2013, I think he said, nightly barbecues, and you could see them from the hotel, he said. There were fires lit throughout the night in downtown Paris. And after last year, he said, that's it, I've had it, I'm not going back, it's not the same, and it likely will never be the same again. This is the kind of stuff that the French don't want to tell you, just as the Swedish don't want to tell you that immigration has ruined their nation as well. The oligarchs, guilty overeducated white people.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, they cannot admit defeat. All they're going to do is double down on the same silly shite that they've done before. And they're going to end up killing a nation. Now, can Germany be resurrected? I really don't think so. But the French right now are on the cusp of something absolutely incredibly important to them.
Exactly.
And that's this.
Mm-hmm.
Are they... I'm sorry, go ahead, Ken.
No. You said, and that's this. Go right ahead.
And that is, are we going to save our culture?
Exactly.
Or are we just going to step away from it?
Exactly.
And it really gets down to that. It's that simple. Because if the vote goes for Le Pen, it's an if-then situation. If you Le Pen, then I say you have about a 95 to 98 percentile assurance that France is going to leave the EU.
Yep.
I used to say that the linchpin will be if Germany goes. I don't think Germany's going to go. If France goes, guess who's going next? Italy.
Yep.
Italy's going to be going left. Italy's going to be going next.
Mm-hmm.
For no other reason than I think they're having their own terrible, terrible issues with immigration. They're going through all the nations in the EU are going through the exact same thing. But if France does decide that they're going to elect Le Pen, well, already you've seen what happens. Same thing in France, same thing in the U.S. If people are elected that the leftists don't like, they're simply going to riot. And that already happened beginning on Saturday.
Exactly.
But this is a huge issue for France.
And can we just be honest here that the mainstream media, and I include Fox News now in that mainstream media, have poignantly propagandized Marine Le Pen by referring to her as an extremely far-right candidate and referring to Emmanuel Macron as a centrist when he's a socialist. When did socialists become centrist? Even on Fox News. When did this happen?
What we know of socialism, it sort of burns, it's like acidic when it comes off the tongue. In Europe, that's not a bad thing. That's sometimes something to be acquired. Now, here's the deal again. The entire global establishment is backing Macron in France. That tells you everything you need to know. The BBC is backing him. French media are backing him. There's a poll that found out, and the BBC specifically made sure that it didn't cover this. A poll discovered that the French presidential candidate, Marine Le Pen, she won the plurality of women and young voters, not Macron.
Wow.
So the media now, their job is to make sure that accurate information doesn't come out to you so that you believe something entirely other than that which is the truth. Because they cannot be seen, they cannot fail. They know how incredibly important that is. If she steps in, the people that were currently in power lose power. Once they lose power, they lose control. With leftists and socialists, it's all about power and control. Mm-hmm. It's a challenge. It's a direct challenge to the establishment on every level, which is why they will pull out all the stops.
I love
pulling out all the stops to make sure it doesn't happen.
Exactly. I love the way that you brought to light the true matter here. This is really not about Le Pen or Macron at this particular. It's not about. This is really the civil war between those who believe in globalism and climate change and government intervention in every way, shape, and form of your life versus those who believe in freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of your own individual happiness. And so, I mean, to be earnest, Le Pen, her being called someone on the right is comparing her to an American McCain, John McCain, or maybe even a Ronald Wilson Reagan at the very, ebb of that particular thing. But we're not talking about someone who is. I'm trying to go. She's not Goldwater. You know what I'm saying? She's not.
No, it comes down to are you going to support globalism?
Yes.
Are you going to support nationalism? It's nothing more than that. It's keeping your sense of identity, yourself, your sovereignty, versus turning power and control upwards, not downwards to the people, upwards to a smaller and smaller and diminutive cabal of people. You're granting them massive amounts of power over a greater number of people so that they are the arbiters of what happens with more and more people. It's focusing control on such a small group of people that you lose your voice. And once you've lost your sovereignty, you've lost your voice.
Yeah,
and it's true whether it's in the EU and it's true whether you're over here. It's nothing but two cadres, two camps now, globalists versus nationalists.
And they're hoping to repair the fracture, because there is a deep fracture between the real human people and the elite, part of the European Union group that drive around in Jaguars to get to meetings at very expensive hotels and dining in the restaurants, kind of like the UN. The real people,
and people cruising around in their Gulfstream G5.
Yes,
day after day, despoiling the environment because it's more important for them to get there quickly than it is to get on a civil airliner and go like the rest of the proles and the maggots that crawl down in the filth and the mud. That's the rest of us. You see, they deserve their G5s. We deserve to wallow in the mire.
Exactly, and that the whole gambit is really just that. But somehow those who are on the left, and I include Fox News in this particular grouping now, have chiseled out this idea that Marie Le Pen would be the most dangerous person on the face of the earth, far more dangerous than Trump, far more dangerous than Theresa May. She would be truly dangerous simply because she believes that maybe NATO isn't as strong as it used to be, and we need to spend less money on socialized medicine and more money on defense. That we need to make certain that if you want to live in France, that you speak French, and that you love being French. And quite frankly, we really don't need you in this country because we have a 7% unemployment rate just among the people that we have here. We don't need you toying in and asking for us to pay you to be unemployed. I like her.
Well, she makes no bones about it. She's a nationalist. And what you said is absolutely true. As far as they are concerned, globalists, she is the epitome of dangerous. She's dangerous because she seeks to usurp that power and the control. Yeah, it's always about money. Certainly money is in there as well. That's a given. But moreover, they're concerned about the loss of power and the loss of control. Like Frank Underwood has said on House of Cards, it's not about the money, it's about the power. And it truly is. For the first time ever, for France, this is absolutely astounding. This is the first time, like I said, in 60 years that absolutely none of France's, what they call mainstream parties, have entered the second round. And because of that, then they had that night riots. They broke out in various places, in Paris. They broke out in the Bastille, the birthplace of the French Revolution, and they're trying to make a point of it. Antifa was there at those riots. Antifa has its origins, if you didn't know, in, of course, the black-clad, mask, balaclava-clad Antifa showed up as well. So the next round of elections, I was incorrect. The next round of elections are going to be between Marine Le Pen and Macron. They'll occur on Sunday, May 7th. So I said May 5th. That's not correct. It's
well, we understand because that's Cinco de Mayo.
May 7th.
That's Cinco de Mayo, which is a more important date than the election. But when we come back from this break in the next 5 minutes, I want to talk with you about the real issue regarding what happens on Sunday and why someone is trembling in Frankfurt. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with more of the best in urban conservative talk. We have with us Sir Mark, the Bloviating Zeppelin, from Block.
Go ahead. You can say it. I know you can. I have confidence. I have every confidence in you.
Bloviatingzeppelin.net. I'm going to go with that one. That's safer. We'll be right back.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, conservative by choice. It's Reverend Ralph Chittums, the right guy, on the Exceptional Conservative Network from 4:05 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. The right guy on TECN.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
Hello, this is Leslie Speaking with the Real Clear Israel. Join me every Sunday morning at 10:05 Eastern Time on the Exceptional Conservative Network, where we'll be discussing Israel with guests from Israel and around the world.
That's the Real Clear Israel, 10:05 Sunday on the Exceptional Conservative Network.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe, or Dreamer, Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on SHRmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, SHRmedia.com.
The dream deferred is real. You've been waiting for the Exceptional Conservative Network, and now it's here. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com. Tune in and get the best in urban conservative talk. Stop dreaming. It's real.
The Bloviating Zeppelin. He's big-footed enough radio shows to last a lifetime, courtesy of Sean, Clint, Ken, and Jersey Joe. Now it's time for him to waddle on his own 2 feet via the glorious SHR Media. Gird thy loins for the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, coming soon to ossicles near you. Excelsior.
Hi, my name is Willie Lawson of The Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We have a brand new show on at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. We are bound to make you think. We are bound to make you see things differently. We are bound to push you into action for not only your community, but your country. That's The Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. See you there.
From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's. From day's first light till night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, You can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the non-commercial portion of our program. No more commercials for the rest of this evening. I know it seems to be later and later now in the show, but certainly that's a good reason for that. We are back with none other than Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin, who has a wonderful new show on the SHR Media Group, their SHR Radio Network. Not to be confused with Sackheads Radio, by which he confers to us on a weekly basis that if it were not for him, they would be no better than the Cleveland Cavaliers without LeBron James. And we appreciate his humility, so much so that he has a show that comes on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. called Berserk, Bobcat, Saloon. Actually, it's Saloon, but we'll go with Salon for the time being. None other than my very good friend, Sir Mark the Bloviating.
You know, the funny thing is, Ken, last week, just before the Sackheads came on, right after your show, you were saying, you know, and there's BZ, and he says that, you know, he knows that Sackheads wouldn't be anything unless it were up to him. Trust me, Sean was listening, because I had my computer on and the volume was up, and he heard that.
You know, BZ, I'm not here to get you in any trouble. I'm not instigating anything.
I know. It's a perfectly innocent remark. It's absolutely.
It happens.
Absolutely innocent. You know, you're talking about Fox News, and it's funny because today someone came out and they're firing shots across Hannity's waterline now with regard to statements that he made to women. So the timing of that seems to be just odd, just a bit odd about that. But I'll tell you one thing. Obviously, the sons are now running the asylum, so to speak, instead of Rupert himself. And so if they decide that they're going to go full left wing on this, as I wrote in chat, they're absolutely going to hemorrhage ads, they're going to bleed viewers, and they're going to bleed money, because that's all that's left. Once if it isn't able to recover itself, then really what do you have left? Because that means that the American media maggots, and also the European media maggots, will have won. That's where the meme of fake news came from. The meme of fake news came from the fact that the curtain was pulled back on the nasty professor with the machine, and people began to realize, after decades of the left having control of the media, at least certainly in cable and definitely in newspapers, there was actual pushback. And once pushback occurred, again, as I stated, it's about a loss of power and control. So when you threaten the political left, you are simultaneously threatening the media left, the American media maggots, and they circled the wagons and they fought back. And then they get their little MPs, their pawns, Antifa, etc., to go out and riot on behalf of leftists, while simultaneously the American media maggots are saying it's not the left that's violent, it's the right that's violent. It's like Alice in Wonderland. We've gone down the rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole is full of insanity, only it's in 3D, 24/7, full color HD, anytime you turn it on. And there it is. It's power and control.
Exactly. And
that's another one of the reasons that we got here.
Exactly. And why not have some of the most powerful orators like you, BZ, and the Underground Professor, and his peon in chief, myself, and Mary Brockman and others, you know, and I don't mind carrying the water for the professor because he doesn't mind me carrying it.
But here's another interesting thing. Before the break, you mentioned something about Merkel.
Yes.
And let me tell you, this is what's occurring in European media right now. The BBC is saying basically, Macron, he's got it in the bag. Also in Germany, I've been reading off of Der Spiegel. And in Germany, it's quoted now that Merkel's populist foes seem to be in disarray. And though she's let in over 1 million Muslim migrants into Germany since 2015, the saying now in the media is, well, because the numbers have dropped, populist enthusiasm is waning. The equivalent of the right-wing party, which is the AfD, has suffered a terrible political defeat, and Merkel is emerging stronger than ever.
Really?
Really. Really.
Listen, the truth of the matter, but you and I both know this, the truth of the matter is, if this card falls, which I really believe that it will fall on Sunday because they were wrong, the same posters that they asked about Brexit, they're going to the well now in the French vote. I believe that if she does win on Sunday, Merkel needs to start packing her stuff because by August she will be gone too.
It's one of those things where at this point I'd have to say, Ken, get out of my head. There's only room enough in here for me, but it's true. If she happens to win, you're going to see a lot of people. It's just like what you said. All the pollsters. You and I were watching the night of November 8th.
Yes!
And we were on our seats, and everyone kept saying Trump is going to go into the dumpster. He's going to go absolutely kaput. He's going nowhere. It's going to be Hillary by a landslide, an absolute landslide. The polls said that about Brexit. The polls said that about Trump. The polls are saying right now about Marine Le Pen and Macron. The BBC is saying it. Der Spiegel is saying it, but they're protecting Merkel. At the same time, if she wins over Macron, you're going to see, again, it'll be like the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
In which there'll be absolute refusal, which is what happened. When, Ken, did the Russian meme start? The Russian meme started against Trump essentially November 9th. And after that, it had to be Russia because it can't be the ideas or the quality of the politics we're putting down or the inefficiency of our and our philosophies. No, it has to be everything that. It can't be our candidates. It can't be Merkel. It can't be Macron. If she wins, then, Ken, here's what you can be guaranteed of. The European Union will find its own equivalent of Russia. Maybe Russia itself, because it is everything but the fault of Macron.
It could have been the French
because Marine Le Pen was strong and won because of the philosophy and her belief system. It'll be everything but. Then cheating will come out. I'm sure there'll be something about cheating, something about Russia. But there will be a massive excuse, and the meme will be created directly after that election.
I remember
because otherwise they can't afford to. They can't afford to think that it's them. It's always someone else.
I can't remember the exact date, but I do remember that it was in January of this year that Janice Hall came on our program. It was a Tuesday night. And we talked about the big story against Marine Le Pen. The big story was somebody in her entourage was having an affair. That was the biggest. If that's your biggest get, if that is your biggest get against this woman, there is no hope for you. And if she does, if she does win and win well on Sunday, the same thing that happened, you're right, the same thing that happened here with people putting on vaginas on their head is going to happen there, but it'll be also intuitive to the fact that let's see if the terrorist attacks move away from France and then past Belgium into Germany. Let's see what happens then when all of a sudden the one who greeted everyone at the front door is being thrown out the back by the people that she greeted. That message is for Merkel.
What's at stake here? And oh my God, BZ, this is such overstatement. It's what's at stake here is nothing less than the very existence of the entire European Union and the survival of Western civilization in Europe. And I make no qualms whatsoever in saying this. Western civilization is infinitely better than any form of Islam. Islam is not a religion. Islam is a social, political, cultural system and ideology. To say that it's just a religion is patently false.
It's a lie.
Demography will become prophecy. And the fate of the future of Western civilization in Europe is at fate. That's the crux of the biscuit.
Yep. How can people listen to your show tomorrow night, BZ? How can they listen to you tomorrow night?
Well, I'll be on shrmedia.com. That's where you can listen live. To the Listen Live button on the right if you go to shrmedia.com. My blog is at bloviatingzeppelin.net. I'm on Twitter and dab.ai at bzepp. Man, that's a mouthful to have to say all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll be on the Tuesday and I'll be on the Thursday.
Listen, if you're not reading the bloviatingzeppelin.net, it's because you're illiterate. That's the only reason. It can't be because you might do it by choice. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Mark the Bloviating Zeppelin, God bless you. Thank you so much for being on the air with us tonight.
Sir Ken, thank you. God bless and take care. You take care, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll finalize everything for you. We'll summarize everything. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the headquarters in the nation's capital. We'll be right back.
Power brokers use corrupt politicians, deceptive Islam, and lies from establishment media to turn the once shining city on a hill into the city of the blind. What do the elites fear? One man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me at SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Spreaker, iTunes, and YouTube for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant. Power broker.
Christianity, conservatism, the Constitution, capitalism. Our amazing hosts at the Exceptional Conservative Network broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com right now. Join us in chat by clicking on the TECS tab, Bible Study tab, or TECN tabs. TECN, spreading the good news to the ends of the earth. We'll be back after these messages. I'm Ken McClinton, chairman of the Exceptional Conservative Network. Never has the cry for economic liberty been more resounding in urban America than on Election Day 2016. It's the economy. All real change begins with the American entrepreneur. Socialism did not work. Progressivism stole the wealth of individuals and families. You voted for something different. Real change. But what does real change look and sound like? It looks like Las Vegas, and it sounds like Freedom Fest 10. Freedom Fest, the world's largest gathering of free minds, is the popular liberty-minded conference at the beautiful Paris Resort in Las Vegas from July 19th to the 22nd. Hear the voices of the urban freedom movement. Deneen Borelli, Larry Elder, Gina Lofton, Helen Riley, Juan Pablo Arande, and Zayad Abdel-Noir. Share ideas with powerful liberty movement figures like Steve Forbes, Jim Rogers, Anthony Scaramucci, Jennifer Grossman, Naomi Brockwell, Denise D'Souza, John Stossel, Lisa Kennedy, Peter Schiff, and our keynote speaker this year, William Shatner. Your money, your liberty, your freedom, your city. Come for the real and return with the change. Register now at Freedom Fest for $100 off the regular registration rate when you use the all caps code TECN. We'll see you there. Freedom Fest chat. And I'll see you tomorrow. Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer will be with us. Good night. God bless. And always remember the one thing above all things. God bless America. It's time for America to bless God. We'll see you tomorrow night.